here behind me we have the Upnor Castle, which has been in the works for a little while now, having new brake gear fitted, because the original design brake gear was designed around the 2'6" gauge locomotive, but when it was regauged to 2' gauge, the brake gear was moved in, obviously, as well, but the design of the brake gear was compromised because the drive chains, which come from the final drive gearbox down to the rear axle, and then another set of chains goes from that axle to drive the leading axle, meant there was not proper room for the brake gear. So whilst it worked okay, it wasn't brilliant because we couldn't wear the brake blocks right out, and it was very hard to change the blocks, and it was not a very excellent design, a bit of a compromise. So anyway, we've now got a completely revised brake gear arrangement, and we're using different brake blocks. They're composite blocks from South Africa, which will fit in much better. Anyway, the chaps here have just been refitting the chains, and they'll be fitting up the new bits of brake gear on the pit, and then hopefully we'll be giving it a test and seeing how they've done. But yeah, it should make life much easier for the fitters, and hopefully the loco will stop rather better than it did before. And yeah, we'll be able to wear the blocks right out, so it should be a good thing. So here's the new hanger arrangement, and this thing here carries the brake block, which hasn't been fitted yet.
It has been fitted. Take it off.
Yeah, so that's part of the modified arrangement.
Yeah, I can't see anything because there's a light shining on the vehicle.
How's that?
It came off really easy. Hang on there.
That looks good. So the keys just putting in now locks the block into that, goes up through there and locks the block into the carrier.
That's it. Not like that. And that.
These
Pinpoint it. Brake block.
So these brake blocks are the type we use on the Welsh Highland carriages, and they're composite blocks from South Africa. So they'll last a lot longer than the cast iron blocks that wear away relatively quickly, but then we can't wear them right out because the design's compromised. It goes over the flange and gets in the way of all the chain gear and the brake gear. So this is the Vale of Ffestiniog. It's a Cummins engine, Cummins NTA 855 engine. It was originally fitted in South Africa as a retrofit for the original Caterpillar engines that the funky diesels were originally built with. Anyway, this engine has run for many years with some attention, but latterly it was losing oil pressure due to general wear in the main bearings, the big end bearings, and the low oil pressure was causing the warning system to cut the engine out, stop the engine, when it fell too low, and it fell too low generally when you'd been working hard up a hill and then backed off to come into a station. The engine would stall, so it was becoming very difficult to operate, and obviously doing itself no good. So anyway, we've had a specialist Cummins engineer come in and rebuild it with the assistance of some of our chaps. It's had a new camshaft, which was heavily scored and pitted. It's had new cylinder liners, new pistons and rings, all new bearings. So now the engine is basically as good as new. There's just some final work going on here. This is the transmission oil cooler arrangement. There's obviously been a bit of a leak there, but apart from that, the job is all but finished, and so the loco will be back in traffic. It'll be pulling engineers' trains this winter, and then it'll be back to standby duties in the season. We hope to do some more work to the loco. The cabs, the interiors of the cabs are being tidied up because they're looking a bit tatty, and we do have in stock some replacement doors because there's some corrosion going on in the steel door assemblies. We've actually got some stainless doors. We've had them made up and they're in stock, but we don't have time to fit them just now, so we're just trying to basically finish off the mechanical work, get it out in traffic, and then probably in the summer we'll have it in to fit the new doors and do some more bodywork tidying up, and obviously repaint it at the same time.